Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan, as always. And today, Amin, we are starting the show with something that I'm sure you care about very much. Do you want to hear what it is?
The Drake versus Kendrick versus Rick Ross versus Metro Boomin versus Future versus J. Cole versus who else? The Weeknd? Is that?
No, it's the white girl version of that. It is Taylor Swift, who recently dropped a new album, The Tortured Poets Department, and the internet is buzzing, Amin.
Two internets. Two internets.
Two internets. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So in honor of Taylor and the NBA playoffs starting, I thought it would be fun, instead of the Tortured Poets Department, to do the Tortured Players Department. I mean, we're going to find the saddest boys remaining in these games. Are you ready?
I'm ready, and I can't wait for the comment section. Why are they trying to shoehorn Taylor Swift into everything? She already ruined the NFL. Now they're going to do it to basketball, too? Well, all right, let's get started.
Okay, great. Glad we got that out of the way. And I think that the Photoshops will be worth it.
Okay.
What do we have first, Amin? We're starting in the East.
Starting in the East. Pacers versus Bucks. The Pacers are the 6th seed. The Bucks are the 3 seed. We've known this one for quite a while. I'm gonna nominate Miles Turner. That's if I put Miles Turner on the table. I say this guy is the saddest of them all. Not because he doesn't play well or anything, but because for about 14, 15 years, he's been in trade rumors every single year. I'm talking about even when he was in middle school, they were talking about they're gonna trade him to the junior high across town. Poor Miles Turner. I love him. I love his game. I love that he's a Star Wars fan. But this guy, man, can he just get a little bit of love and saying, hey, man, we love you and we don't want to see you go anywhere?
He can't catch a break. But I see your Miles Turner, and I raise you Damian Lillard, who might be the saddest man in Milwaukee. Look at that. Look at that picture, guys. Shout out to Meg. Shout out to Meg for these Photoshops on the Oddball team.
Is that what the album looks like? I was like, why is this all in black and white?
Yeah, because she got very melodramatic. Okay. I haven't even listened to it yet, so I don't really know. But Dame has been so sad. He misses his family in Portland. The Bucks season has been successful in that they have the 3 seed, but unsuccessful in that I've never seen a player look sadder than Damian Lillard when he's on the court. So who do we think is going to win this sad boy battle?
Wait, are you asking me who's going to win the series or who's going to win the sad boy playoff?
Oh, no. And all the boys are sad. This is about the series,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, yeah, it's going to be the Bucks. I know they've struggled. I know, everyone's kind of impending doom and all that stuff. But I really, truly believe first time at the rodeo for the Pacers, even though Pascal Siakam obviously has won a championship and all, but a lot of those other guys are still fairly wet behind the ears, especially Tyrese Halliburton, their best player. It's going to be the Bucks.
Okay. You've always said experience counts when it comes to the playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
All right, next up, we've got Orlando versus Cleveland, or as I like to call it, the NBA TV series that no one will watch. If I give you, I don't know, you're not going to beat me on this one.
Okay, who is it? Who's the saddest boy on that?
Actually, you know what? You pick one for Cleveland. I'll go second because I know I can't get trumped on this one.
Cleveland is easy. Cleveland is Donovan Mitchell. It's for the past 15 years, just like Miles Turner. Everyone's been like, is he going to leave the Cavs? He seems miserable. Is he going to leave? And he's tortured because he still has another year in his contract before that player option kicks in. And I don't know what's going to happen to him, but everyone's like, is this Cleveland's last gasp? And he's a sad boy this year,
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell went from like sweetheart, home small market guy to now he's turning into mercenary. Gonna break hearts all across America's heartland. Having said that, you're not beating Jonathan Isaac as my sad boy.
Oh,
this man is damn near a pariah. Does he have friends in the NBA? That's a real life question I want to know. I'm not gonna speculate. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Guys had some questionable stances over the years. Let's just say, and
yes,
yeah. So
yeah, you win. You win that sad boy.
I win that sad boy face-off, but I believe the Cavs are going to win the actual playoff.
Yes, me too. Okay, great. Let's move on. Further in the East, the last one here, We have the Sixers versus the Knicks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that the Sixers' saddest player is Embiid. The only year he hasn't been hurt is 2020. They haven't made it out of the second round of the playoffs. He's the saddest boy, and he looked so sad the other night. So he's really sad.
Charlotte, what's the name of the album again? Tortured what?
Tortured Poets Department, which is why this is the Tortured Players Department.
Okay, there is no one in the NBA more tortured than Tom Thibodeau. Hands down.
Well, he's not a player.
It does not matter. You cannot. There's the level of tortured he is overcomes any lack of a playing resume on the NBA level. Tibbs absolutely sweeps everyone. Matter of fact, pencil him in for the Tortured Poets Championship all the way to the top.
Okay, fair.
No, and I'm not gonna say but. And on riding that wave, the Knicks are gonna beat the Sixers.
I agree. That also is partly to save my marriage. But anyway, what do we have in the West? Right. I mean,
okay, out west we've got. This is the spicy one, the one they've been waiting all year for. It's Lakers versus Nuggets. Charlotte. For the Lakers, I nominate Anthony Davis. Even though he's played a career high games this year, it feels like every time I watch Anthony Davis, he gets hurt. And that's not his fault. And that what more of a definition of tortured is something when it's not your fault. I was just doing the thing I was supposed to do.
Completely. He has a total lack of control. He's an amazing player. Things just don't go his way. I'm going to raise you. I'm going to see Anthony Davis and raise you Denver, where the most tortured player is. I'm sorry. It's no one, because nobody's tortured in Denver. They're the reigning champs. And I don't even think we have to talk about this anymore, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to make easy work of the Lakers, even though they have LeBron.
Doesn't she have an album called Blank Slate, or is that a name of a song or something?
Blank Space is a song. So.
Same. That's what the tortured nomination is for Denver.
Wow, Amin, I did not know that you had that Taylor Swift lore in you. I'm very impressed. But we're going to move on to the Suns versus the Timberwolves. The most tortured boy on the Timberwolves is a man who tries to hide it with bravado, who acts out instead of saying, hey, I'm just sad. He's also just French. It's Rudy Gobert, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him.
Well played, Charlotte. I see you, Rudy Gobert, and I raise you, DeAndre Ayton.
He's not on the Suns anymore, I mean.
Does not matter. He gets no more tortured than this. The guy slept on an air mattress for half the year, for crying out loud.
Yeah, okay, good point. Now, why have the Suns been such a nightmare matchup for the Timberwolves this year?
Well, they swept the season series, so I think it's because the Suns have too many perimeter-type players. Rudy Gobert, great defensive player, but every year we see this chess match happen with how do we exploit his inability to guard out in space. Chris Finch thinks he has a solution. I don't think so. I got the Suns over the Wolves. All right, last one for you, Charlotte. Mavs and Clippers. This is the hot one right here. I've got Kyrie Irving. This dude, everybody has hated him everywhere he's gone. Dallas is the first place he's been loved and appreciated, but he gets booed a lot of different places despite being a fantastic player. I got Kyrie. What do you got?
He's tortured for sure. And on the Clippers, I have, just the entire team. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. Remember PJ Tucker? How anyway.
He's still tortured. Yeah.
He's still tortured. And you know what I mean? I still have Mavs in 5.
Mavs in 5 is just insane. I'll be tortured if you're right.
Well, we can hope.
Welcome back to Oddball. Charlotte, the play-in games wrap up tonight. You've got Pelicans, Kings. You've got Bulls versus Heat. The winners go on to the 1 seeds. The losers go home. Of course, injuries have been the big topic of conversation in both of these games. So we got Jeff Stotts in Street Clothes to come in and break it all down for us. Take a listen. Jeff, I guess we got to start with the big injury that happened on Wednesday night. Jimmy Butler sprained MCL. Seen limping after the game. First, I guess the question Charlotte and I had was, how hard is it to play on a sprained MCL? Because he injured it in the first half, and then he went on to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive for him to be able to finish out that game, because really impacts your lateral movement. So that side to side motion. So for him to be able to play defense, to move the way he does, the MCL is integral in movement patterns, especially on the basketball court, because it is so much, not just up and down, but side to side as well, and pivoting and twisting. When they said MCL, I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting something maybe not quite as significant, considering that he did finish out that game after it supposedly happened in that first quarter.
And MCL, is that on the inside of your knee, Jeff?
Yeah, the M stands for medial, so it's on the inside of that knee. You have the LCL on the outside, which is lateral collateral, and then the ones everyone know are the ACL and the PCL, and they actually cross and they're inside the knee joint. So both of the MCL and the LCL don't sit within the joint; they're kind of off to the side. The good news is with the MCL sprains is they're capable of healing without surgical intervention. Uh, Even if we have a significant tear, we don't always go to surgery with this route, unlike with likely with the ACL. So that's good news, but there's still a lot of factors that are going to come into play considering his Butler's injury history and then any potential meniscus issues that are occurred with this injury, because that's the thing we worry about with MCL sprains is fibers of that ligament are entwined in the meniscus on that side. So if there's a lot of times if we have a significant MCL sprain, we also have some accompanying meniscus damage.
Well, talk about his injury history because Jimmy's had a bunch of stuff that's happened to that same knee, correct?
Yeah, he's had a previous meniscus tear, which he suffered, I believe, while he was with Minnesota. Had surgery to likely a meniscectomy, so a partial removal of whatever that damaged tissue was. And then he's also this year battled some soreness in that knee. He's been listed at least once in the injury report with tendonitis in that knee. So, and those are unsurprising considering his injury history. We often see guys that have those previous surgeries report those symptoms somewhere down the road. But now we're dealing with a secondary injury in that same area. And so the hope is it's a low grade sprain with no meniscus damage. But even then, we're looking at likely a multi-week injury, probably 2 weeks.
What is the actual odds that he will come back? Like, assuming the Heat can get past the Bulls, like, is it realistic that he could be playing in the first round?
It's going to be tough because, I've looked at a couple different cases. If we look at just kind of MCLs as a whole, the average time lost is roughly 23 days. So that's like 3 weeks, right? And I isolated ones that were just considered low grade sprains with no meniscus damage. Even those were 13.7 days, I think, somewhere. So roughly 2 weeks. So we're looking at a 2 week absence. That would be on the cusp of maybe a game 7 or even, trickling into that second round of the playoffs.
Ugh. All right. Well, sorry to Heat fans. We got to move on to Zion, who left that incredible play-in game with a hamstring strain. What is the prognosis for something like that?
So looking at the hamstring strains that have occurred just this season, we're looking at about a 2 week window. Again, obviously that depends on the severity of the strain. So we grade sprains, which are ligament injuries, and strains, muscle injuries, on the same scale. A low grade is microfiber damage, but overall the integrity of the muscle is intact. A grade 2 would be a partial tear, so true tearing of the fibers. Just looking at hamstring strains this season, like I said, about 13 days. But the Pelicans have already said he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So the thing I don't like there is that term reevaluated. That does not mean return to play. That simply means we're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks, knowing he's going to miss at least 2 weeks, and then we'll reassess after some initial healing has occurred.
Jeff, are you surprised? I mean, watching the play, it did not seem like he made a very sharp movement that would result in that kind of injury. How surprised were you that based on the play that preceded him leaving and stomping off to the locker room, that would result in something that's damaging?
Well, I was a little bit surprised. When I first saw it, there wasn't anything that jumped out like, oh, that's the exact play. The play we suspect it was, he does have a little bit of hyperextension maybe of that knee when he lands, which would put the hamstring on stretch. But even when he ran off, he kind of pointed like his groin region. Maybe he was just indicating it was his leg, but hamstring wasn't the first thing I thought of. First thing I thought of was maybe groin. And then again, we started to hear that vague initial description of left lower leg soreness. Okay, now we're thinking maybe hamstring. But it wasn't until they actually came out and said a true hamstring strain that I was like, okay, it's definitively that. And it's even hard to tell when he walks off because Zion does have a unique gait. So it's hard to tell if he's limping or if it's, something that's bugging him based on the way he was moving as he, like you said, stormed off the court.
Unique gate is one way to put it. I guess the last one we got to talk about, because Charlotte, you might be seeing the Chicago Bulls playing the Celtics if they win tonight, but if they win tonight, it'll be without Alex Caruso. Now, Caruso got stepped on by Andre Drummond on his right foot, but on the injury report, he's listed as his left ankle is the one that got hurt.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a little bit, maybe more information from the Bulls on this one, an official injury report, so I make a definitive belief of what this actually is. I've heard some people say foot sprain. I've also seen ankle sprain as well. But the fact that I've seen the reports of significant, this guy has me worried a little bit. So we're potentially talking about a grade 2 injury, which then again, now we're talking significantly longer recovery time and more time missed if they're able to advance.
Significant when attached to an injury does not seem good. I mean,
any injury, right? There's no such thing as insignificant injury. It's only insignificant when it doesn't happen to you, Charlotte. That's the rule.
There you go.
Jeff Stotts at In Street Clothes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it, guys.
Amin, it is time for a heat check. Yesterday, you gave us an extended analogy about like Jimmy Butler and Dennis from Always Sunny. We have something to show you.
Yeah. His hand is a bag of soup right there.
All right. So Jimmy's knee is hopefully not a bag of soup. But in the spirit of analogies, we're going to keep this going with Heat Check. We're going to grade play-in teams on their chances to make a finals run in honor of last year's improbable run by the Heat. Okay. So here's our grading scale. We've got level 1, which is how did I get here? You see Jimmy looking at surprised at the paper. Yeah. We have level 2 is happy to be here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at that smile. Jimmy's got such a good smile. Level 3 is came to play.
Oh, yeah, that was media day a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and then level 4 is scary. Oh,
okay.
Growling Jimmy.
Yes, I thought we'd get the emo look, but no, okay.
No, level 5 is dangerous.
Oh, that's the dangerous one. That is, those are the kids you got to watch out for. When you're in school, watch out for the emo kids.
Yeah, constantly. Anytime they start saying, tonight is the night, that's when you're like, oh, I'm in trouble. So we're going to start with the Pelicans.
Were you an emo kid?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
right.
no,
okay.
Not enough to say that.
All right.
Pop punk, maybe. Pop punk, okay. So we're going to start with the Pelicans here, and we have to rate them on a scale of how did I get here to dangerous. Zion is reportedly out tonight against the Kings. The winner faces the Thunder. What's your feeling here about this Pelicans team in terms of potentially making a deep run?
Yeah, this is a tough one because obviously if they lose tonight, then the deep run is kind of out of the question. And not having Zion available makes that a much tougher proposition. But I'm going to say this. The Pelicans are going to win without Zion. And then once they get in, like the Heat last year, now you're taking off. Now it's like, it doesn't matter that we almost lost in the play-in. Now we're taking off. I've said it many a times before. I've booked a hotel room in New Orleans for the finals.
Yes.
Give me emo Jimmy. They're dangerous. Those Pelicans are dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Okay. I agree with you. We have to agree, by the way. The rules are that we have to agree on these. It's like a jury duty where it's like unanimous. Okay. I don't know. I've never actually done jury duty.
Two angry people.
Yeah. Two angry people. There you go.
All right, Charlotte. Next up on the list are the Chicago Bulls, who play tonight against the Miami Heat. Now, the Heat are without Jimmy Butler, but the Bulls are without perhaps Alex Caruso tonight. So Kobe White, 42 in the play-in the other night. What are you thinking? Where do we put the Bulls on the meter? Now, mind you, the winner of this game will play against your Boston Celtics in the first round.
Yes, thank you. I am aware. I feel like it's a 2. I feel like it's a happy to be here because I don't know. Well, it might be a how did I get here?
How did I get here?
Caruso's not there. I think it's how did I get here? Yeah, we don't really need to expand on that much more. It's how did I get here?
How did I get here?
And the answer is Kobe White, and that's it. And that's not enough.
I'm a caller right now. If the Bulls do win tonight in the play-in, I have Celtics in 3. All right, next up. Charlotte.
We have the Sixers. We talked about them yesterday. Game 1 versus the New York Knicks tomorrow, Saturday at 6 ET. It's the first time that Philly and New York are playing each other in the playoffs since 1989.
Know what happened in 89, right?
No, I don't.
Mark Jackson with the broom dancing across the floor because they swept them. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, producer Gabe, do you remember that one? You young bastard. This child.
Okay, so where are you putting the Sixers in? I feel like they might be scary.
Scary? I got them all the way at dangerous, baby. Or
Okay.
which one's higher? Which one's higher?
Yeah, dangerous is higher.
Dangerous is the highest. Here's why.
Even with Embiid, even with his knee?
Even with Embiid, because again, it's a slow burn, right? He's getting better and stronger and getting better conditioning. But also, here's the other thing that happened to the Heat last year is that they got a favorable path. And this is a favorable path. You play against the Knicks in the second round, in the first round, like, okay, they're doable, right? They're beatable. And then the second round, you play the Bucks, and like they haven't had their shit together, right? Or let's assume they get past the Pacers. So then you get to the conference finals, and by then, hey, Embiid's ready for the Olympics, baby. So I'm gonna put them at dangerous. I'm not saying they're gonna get there. I'm just saying this is a dangerous team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll agree with you. I think the Knicks might be a little tougher than I feel like you've got most people beating the Knicks, but I think that I'm not going to underestimate Brunson. But this doesn't have to do with who they're playing. This has to do with who they are. So yes, dangerous.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what makes them dangerous. All right. Sacramento, the lion that slayed Goliath. I'm mixing up biblical things here. I failed Bible study. They're playing the Pelicans tonight. Obviously, they're on the road in New Orleans. The winner plays the Denver Nuggets. Charlotte, where do you think the Kings land on this scale?
I mean, I'm going to give the Kings came to play because I think that with Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk hurt, that is obviously still hurting them. But Keegan Murray stepped up. Keon Ellis, I think that I wouldn't count them out. But I also don't think it's like, oh, I'm terribly concerned about the Kings. So I'm going to put them right in the middle with Jimmy from Media Day a few years ago.
I'll take that. I'll take Kim. I was edging towards happy to be here, but no, you know what? Like they're feisty and they got a good home crowd. So yeah, I'll let them rock right there.
It bumps them up. Okay, and heat check on the Heat. Baby,
how is this not the last one? This should have been the last one, right? We
could talk for long enough that this is the last one. We don't talk about the Lakers because the Lakers are dangerous, right?
Well, I don't know. Let's answer the Heat. All right, Jimmy Butler's hurt, right? They got to play the Bulls tonight, doable, but then they've got to play the Celtics after that, which is a lot less doable. Yeah. We don't know how long Jimmy's going to be out for. It all depends. He is tough as nails. I say came to play because they're always prepared. They're always tough. They know how to make a game ugly, even when they don't have their full complement. But I think in order to be dangerous or scary, you actually have to have a chance to win.
Yeah, you have to have Jimmy to be dangerous or scary. So, okay, came to play.
All right, we got 30 seconds.
The Lakers.
Yep. Okay. They got what they asked for. They beat the Pelicans, and they get their rematch with the Denver Nuggets, who swept them last year. There's a lot of talk, particularly at the beginning of the year, but maybe less so as the year went on. Charlotte, how...
They're dangerous.
You've got the Lakers are dangerous?
They're dangerous.
Dangerous? I'm going to say they came to play, and they also came to lose. That's what's going to happen. Sorry.
Shout out to Michael Malone. We'll be talking about you guys a lot. Let's just rock and roll.
Dun, 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 dun.
I've got sunshine.
We're waiting for a girl like you to come into my life.
Word count Wednesday. We love you so much.
I got you. They're multiplying.
If I could sing and play guitar, I wouldn't be here. 1, 2, Princess stand before.
Yeah.
A lot of things are in my head.
In your head, zombie. All the leaves have fallen and the sky is gray. I've been California dreaming a lot.
Every day I wake up with a different Taylor Swift song stuck in my head.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say every day I wake up with a different malady.